Right, good morning, welcome back. Okay, a quick maintenance video for you today. Clutch fluid change on a Honda Goldwing GL 1500. Now, clutch fluid is pretty much like brake fluid. It needs changing roughly every 2 years. It's a periodic service procedure. You'll see it written in your schedule. Now, it needs doing because it absorbs moisture from the atmosphere. It doesn't last forever. You can't forget about it. And just because it doesn't leak doesn't mean that it's okay. It must be changed. But it's so easy. Look, the first thing to do, take the cap off and access the reservoir itself. And that's here. Right. Cap off. Top board. And if I just lift that up, you can see the condensation on there slowly building up into water droplets. And this, in case you're wondering, is referred to in the manual as a float. You don't often see them. Right. As you can see, by the state of that fluid and the fact that it's a little bit low, it definitely needs changing, most definitely. So we'll leave that as it is at the moment. We'll get down to the slave cylinder end, break open the bleed valve, make sure it's all healthy, then set it all up so we're ready to change it. Right, typical Honda design convenience, they put the bleed valve on the end of a long remote stalk. So the slave cylinder itself is all the way in on the back of the engine, about midships, pretty hard to get to, certainly for bleeding and servicing purposes, but the actual bleed valve, well, there, my finger's actually on it, right there. It's ever so easy to get to. So let's pull the cap off, set it up. Let's just break it free. Right, that's the lower end set up. Make sure the spanner can do at least 1/8 to 1/4 of a turn open and closed, because that's going to be the bleeding process. Make sure your tube's nice and secure and direct it into a jug so don't make a mess all over your bench. Right, let's deal with the top. Just mopping the remainder of the old fluid out of there first. You don't have to mop it out. You can use a syringe if you want to and draw it out, turkey based or anything you like. But whatever it is, get the old filthy stuff out and we can fill that up with nice clean fluid so we can start bleeding it through. Right, okay. Now from here, the technique, I've been demonstrating this throughout the last 8 years in every other video on hydraulics, brakes and clutches. It's very simple. I'll go through it one more time. Pull the lever in, hold the lever in, then open the valve and close the valve. Then let the lever go. That will drag the new fluid down, and repeat and repeat and repeat. Lever in, valve open, valve closed, lever out. It's as simple as that. Practice it a few times, it becomes something you just do, muscle memory and all that automatically. And as you see the fluid level drop, keep an eye on it and make sure there's plenty in there. You want to probably put 2 or 3 reservoirs of fluid through the system to make sure that what's there now in the top is coming out the bottom. And if you want to flush a few more through, then that's acting to wash the inside of the system by using fresh clean fluid. Let's do it. Right, that's it. That's the system flushed through completely. All the filthy stuff's in the jug, all the nice clean stuff's in the system. Now let's button it up. Right, there we go. There's our old fluid. Absolutely heaving. That's full of water content and rubber dust. That's why it's black and horrible and lumpy and awful with grains of rubber in it. It's really nasty. So that indicates to me that the seals inside there are quite probably wearing excessively and they're pretty much on their way. So I think in the future, what I might well be able to do is bring you a video of rebuilding the master cylinder and the slave cylinder, and we'll put a new hose on it at the same time. And putting a new clutch hose on a Goldwing, well, it is hilarious to work it all through that bodywork. That'll be a fun video for the future, but for now it works absolutely fine. Now when we've done this to our brakes, when we've bled our brakes through, we always bind the lever in overnight, don't we, because that gives it a crisper feel in the morning. But with a clutch, obviously it doesn't do to bind it in overnight. It puts all the pressure on the clutch springs and it holds everything open. It doesn't do the clutch any good. So instead of actually binding it all the way in with a clutch, what I do, take a cable tie and just put the lever under a little bit of pressure. There we are, just enough to pressurize the system a bit, which helps to minimize those little bubbles in there and allow them to float up to the top overnight. That's all it needs. Doesn't need to pull it right the way in, just a bit of pressure, and that's safe for the clutch at the same time. So there we are, clutch fluid change, Honda Goldwing GL 1500. I hope that helped you. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.